Hello and welcome. I am DEJI360. In spite of government counter-terrorism efforts, insecurity is still prevalent in Nigeria. Insurgency, banditry, organized kidnappings and other forms of criminality have created a thriving trade in small arms and light weapons. Recently in Ekiti State, 5 pupils of Apostolic Faith Group of Schools, Ekiti, and 4 staff members were kidnapped. Their abductors are now demanding 100 million naira ransom for the release of the 9 victims, threatening to kill them if the ransom wasn't paid. Just before that incident, 2 monarchs in the state were killed by suspected armed kidnappers. And just this past Friday, gunmen suspected to be kidnappers invaded the palace of the Olukoro of Koro in Ekiti, local government area of Kwara State, killing the monarch and abducting his wife and 2 others. Despite government counter-terrorism expenditure and efforts in recent years, the level of insecurity in Nigeria has continued to deteriorate, while terrorists and bandits are seemingly more emboldened and audacious. Nigeria's myriad security challenges now poses a serious concern for a lot of Nigerians, and many are wondering how the situation can better be managed. Well, I'm now being joined on the program to look at all of this by Mr. Mike Ejiofor, who used to be a director in the Department of State Services. He's also a security expert. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us on the program. You look at our defense budget for this year. What we plan to spend for the military. I'm talking about the entire defense budget. We're looking at about 3 trillion naira now for defense. You look at that, and then you look at the magnitude of problems we have on the ground. Do you think we're on course to solving this security challenge we're dealing with?
Well, I think we're on course. And if you look at the budget, like you rightly pointed out, on defense, this is the highest in recent times. That shows government concern and commitment to tackling this menace. But the problem we're facing is that there are myriads of problems. If you look at the issue of the economy, people are suffering, the economy is bad. People who ordinarily wouldn't have gone into criminality have gone into criminality. And the issue of banditry, kidnapping, is becoming a major industry in Nigeria that people think that's the quickest way to make money. You know, we used to talk of armed robbery. You go to people's houses, they don't keep cash anymore. And you see that they just come in and kidnap people, ask for ransom, and the ransoms are paid. It's becoming an industry, honestly, and it's very, very worrisome. But my major concern is the issue of killings. Take the instance of the traditional rulers in Ekiti, the kidnap of his 2 children. And these are vulnerable, very vulnerable people. And I think is a new dimension that they have embarked upon. And believe me, without profiling any ethnic group, we're talking of Fulani militia. These are not the people alone involved in this. They are now collaborating with the locals and even members of our security agencies. So it's becoming very, very worrisome and disturbing that this should be happening. And all these are aimed at least destabilizing the government, making the government unpopular, and making the government to look ineffective for providing the primary purpose of government, which is the welfare and security of the people.
Why do you think this, well, let me just call them terrorists, but whether they are kidnappers, why do you think they're getting emboldened and now adopting some very, I don't know how to call it, deadly strategy now of killing their hostages if ransom wasn't paid? I mean, we saw that in the case of the girls who were kidnapped in Abuja recently, where one of them was killed. We've seen 2 monarchs now getting killed, and then in Ekiti we now see this the kidnappers now saying that if a ransom wasn't paid, that they were going to start killing. They were going to start killing the school children, and you just can't take that lightly at all, because they just might be serious. Why are they now adopting this strategy?
This is a new and very disturbing development. Even though people have been killed after payment of ransom, but the threat of killing, even before ransoms are paid, is becoming very, very disturbing. And I don't know what message or messages they are trying to send across. Either they are trying to uh, let government know that they are serious, they are out to destabilize the government. I believe that our security forces also should change tactics. I look at it as a point of fact that one, we have long-term and short-term solutions. In the terms of short-term solution, because of what is confronting us now, if we allow this rule to come into Abuja, that doesn't say that the other parts of the country are not important. If you allow this rule to come within the Abuja metropolis, it becomes a very dangerous threat to our national security. That means that people will be so scared that people can be daring the Federal Capital Territory. We are in for a very big trouble. So what I think in the short term is that the military should be deployed, in areas of, at the outskirts, to at least form barriers and buffer, so that when these bandits are coming in, they see the military presence, because police does not have the capacity to deal with this. It's not a fault of theirs that they don't have the capacity. I'm still waiting for the directive of Mr. President to be carried out, that all the policemen deployed to dignitaries, some of them who are questionable in character, should be withdrawn and deployed to see that these people assist the police in maintaining law and order. Besides that, there's also the role of the citizenry to play major roles for them to play, to at least let volunteer information. These people, most of them are not only in the forest, they live with our people, and they need to also volunteer information on how to tackle these things. If you say it doesn't bother you, it doesn't concern you, when you are affected, it will affect you. I'll give you an example of what happened in Ibadan, the explosive. People are aware that these explosives were kept in that place.
That is true.
And they kept quiet. And at the end of the day, everybody, look at the damage. Lives and property lost in such magnitude. So we also need to assist our security agencies, volunteer information, and allow the security agencies that this is about to happen before it happens. We don't just wait to be reactive. We need to be proactive. We also need to involve, our local vigilantes. People have been talking about it. I'm talking of long-term solutions now. If we look at the police, for instance, they are bound to support or supervise the local vigilantes before we talk of formation of the state police through amendment of our laws. Because first of all, virtually every state has its own state police in the name of one vigilante or the other. So we need to formalize this so that the chief security officers of the state, who are the governors, will own their security and fund them properly, because they are going to operate more effectively. They understand the terrain, they understand the language, there's no cultural differences, unlike what the central police, the Nigerian police is now. You post people to where they don't understand the language, they don't have the cultural affinity, people are scared of even volunteering information. So I think that's the way to go. We are in a very dire situation, and we must tackle the situation.
Now you're a former senior intelligence officer. It is true we have a challenge with, we have a challenge now with our manpower. We don't have enough. Yes, that is quite true. But why are we not able to, get intelligence of some of these attacks, if not most of them, before they occur, so that, the security agencies can now move in, neutralize them before the attacks actually happen. What exactly is the problem? As a former senior intelligence officer yourself, where are we not getting it right? Why do we seem to be failing? Because at some point in time in this country, intelligence gathering was top notch. What has happened?
Gathering of intelligence is not our problem. Intelligence services like the SSS is meant to provide intelligence for action. That is not what we are lacking. We are not lacking in intelligence. We are lacking in capacity to deal with such situations. I'll give you an example. Middle of last year, the SSS did alert that these terrorists and bandits have established cells, around within FCT. We talk about Kogi, Niger, Nasarawa, and the surrounding states, that these people have established cells. We are not lacking in intelligence.
It's really disturbing, and I'm actually worried that there can be intelligence, and then that intelligence will not be acted upon. You look at the incident in Ekiti, 2 incidents happening within a week. How come there was no information that, no inkling at all that something like that was going to happen? Because for some of these things to happen, they take time. They take time to plan and all of that. And yet nobody knew. And within a space of a week, in just 1 week, 2 major incidents happened in that state. And those incidents were successful. The perpetrators successfully carried out their operation without any intervention at all.
You are saying this is as if the people operating this system are magicians. How would somebody know that they are going to kidnap a traditional? Some of them are chance kidnaps. Some of them are just, they run to them by chance and action is taken. So you don't expect that the intelligence services or even the community members will know everything. Even the police will know everything that is going to happen. It's not possible because some of them are chance incidents.
I understand you and I get your point. Now, let me ask you this. In the case of Ekiti, now that these kidnappers are demanding ransom, and the government has said it's going to rescue these children very swiftly, how do you think this situation should be handled?
Well, for me, somebody having been a victim, I always tell people, you will get the people rescued before you start talking of next action. Government position is that people should not pay ransom, and I agree that people should not pay ransom. But unless you are affected or a relation of yours is affected, you will not know whether you pay ransom or not. So the fact remains that the choice is left for the victim's relations to either cooperate with the police or the security agencies to ensure that before ransoms are paid, there are ways of trying to get this money that is being used to be marked. You recall how the former central bank governor, the wife was kidnapped, Emefiele, and the money was marked and they were tracked and the people were arrested. But most people in the society or victims wouldn't want to cooperate with the security agencies to get this money marked, and the kidnappers also threatened that we get the police involved. So in such rescue, they will kill the victims. So they are caught in between the blue sea, and it becomes a problem either to get your people released and released safe, or work with the security agencies and jeopardize the life of your relations.
Samaki Jofo, thank you very much for coming on the program, and thank you for your time with us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so very much. All right, we'll take a short break and we'll be right back to continue the conversation. Stay with us, don't go away. Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal. How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On DEJI360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DEJI360, dissecting the issues. Welcome back. Let's continue the conversation on the security situation in the country. I'm now being joined on the program by Dennis Amakri, who used to be a director at the Department of State Services. He's also a security consultant. He joins us from the United States of America. Mr. Amakri, thank you very much for joining us on the program. So this year we have, I think, Defense actually has the highest budget. We're looking at 12% of Nigeria's budget now allocated to defense. That's about the highest we've ever had. But then you look at the security challenges we're having at the moment. With this huge allocation to defense, even though the Minister of Defense says it is still not enough, do we expect that we're going to, the budget will make a difference in the long run? At least deal with the current security challenges we're confronted with?
Well, thank you for having me. I still believe that the defense budget is not enough because when you properly equip the military and the security forces, it becomes a very serious issue. Number one, let's even go to the easy ones. Police. You have to increase to face the security problem that we are having today. You have to increase the number of policemen in Nigeria
significantly.
That is one. And then not just increasing the number, you have to equip them and train them. Now, when you are training them, they have to go through rigorous training. Then equipping them. When you say equipping the police, it is not buying Hilux vehicles for them. How many attack helicopters does the Nigerian police have? So these are the things that you have to think about. And when you look at that, give it to the police, resuscitate all these old vehicles they have, and then, of course, give them modern technology. The ones that are going to operate in marines, in the waters, the ones that are going to operate on the land, and the ones that are going to operate on air. Then think of the equipment that they are going to have. A control center, very well equipped with tracking systems and surveillance systems to cover a particular area. When you think of that, you know that the defense budget is nothing.
And that is just for the police. We're not talking about other security agencies.
That's just the police. We're not talking of the military. Because, you need to know the how much a jet costs, or a Predator drone, how much a Predator drone costs. This, and modern warfare now is not just with fighter jets or anything like that. It is drone they use, and these Predator drones are very, very expensive, and the payload of that drone is also very, very expensive.
So for people like us, ordinary folks, the moment we hear 3.2 trillion naira for defense, we just think it's a huge amount of money.
No. It's a drop in the bucket. It's a drop in the bucket. The only good thing that we should do there is to make sure that this money is properly spent. Even with the small money we have, I think we should be able to spend it properly. Because if we don't spend it properly, you hear about some trillions of naira, and then 1/4 or 3/4 of that trillion naira is going into somebody's pocket, and then that the problem is compounded.
And the truth is that
it is a complicated issue.
And the truth is that when you factor in inflation, you factor in the current exchange rate, you just realize the money is actually nothing. Actually,
it's
really nothing.
Because just like you said now, the exchange rate, because those things are bought in dollars.
Yes.
Or euros. Now change it and see what you get. You know, the money is just a drop in the bucket.
It is really. But if you were asked to give an estimate now, how many policemen do you think Nigeria needs, you know, that it can comfortably engage its security challenges? Because at the moment, what we've been told is that we have in the region of 300,000 and that over 100,000 or so are assigned to VIPs. So you have just around 200 left to do the actual policing work. In fact, even in that 200, you have to factor in those who work in the offices, who are not field officers. And so that at the end of the day, when you do the breakdown effectively, you're looking at around maybe 100 to 150,000 policemen for a country with a population of around 200 million people. So if you were asked to give an estimate, what do you think we should begin to look at? Even though the government says it now plans to recruit 10,000 every year.
10,000 every year. Anyway, let's do some comparative analysis here. You know, Nigeria is a country of more than 200 million, you know, and we have about 400 because they've been recruiting around 400 policemen.
400,000.
Right. Now, the United Nations requirement is about 400 people to a policeman, and we are falling very, very short of that ratio. Okay. Now, if you look at another country like Egypt, Egypt is about 90 million people. That's about half of Nigeria's population. Their police force is more than 1 million policemen. So you see the disparity right there. But again, if we can push it further, we'll discover that it is not the numbers of policemen, but it is the number of training and deployment. I think those are the two major issues, training and deployment. When you train them properly, they can do a lot of things. You don't have to put them on the road or whatever, and you just deploy them properly. And when we say deployment, we're talking about, you know, working with intelligence and with new technology and putting them, maybe 2 policemen in a car or 4 in a hillocks, and they are not supposed to go and do roadblocks. They are supposed to be on response. You call them and they come. You know, the society should be one that is communicating with the policemen, whereby we have the 911 in the United States. In Lagos, we have 112 and stuff like that. When you call them, the response time will depend mainly on the amount or the number of patrol cars that are on the road, and they can respond. Now, if they respond and they say, oh, it's a kidnap case is a federal crime. And of course, the Inspector General of Police have just set up the Special Intervention Squad, SIS, you know. But I am advocating that they should do more for that SIS.
Like what?
In the United States here, we have what we call the SWAT. The SWAT is Special Weapons and Tactics Team. They are not, if you watch movies, you will see them, but here they are practically, you know, you will see them in practice, whereby they don't go out and do other police jobs. When they are not called out, they are being trained, always being on training with the most modern equipment. And it is for the fittest. You cannot have a big-tummied policeman in SWAT. You know, they are all very, very agile and well-trained, and they don't mix up with anybody. When there is a problem, they call them. And they have their own special weapons, their own special vehicles, and they will appear. And when they appear, they will take care of it. If there is a kidnap situation, they don't have to wait until the kidnappers have taken them into the bush and then start making phone calls to the family. No, that's not the way. Immediately there's a kidnap situation, they are airborne. Immediately they are airborne, they are tracing where these people are. You know, and then, of course, within 24 hours, they will either know where they are, and then, of course, tactically know how to extract the hostages without even paying a single ransom. So these are methods that are going to be used, and they can use in the Nigerian police.
Just before I let you go, sir, this incident in Ekiti State, where those school children were kidnapped. Now the kidnappers are demanding ransom, threatening to kill the children if the ransom wasn't paid. How do you think this should be handled?
I think there should be no ransom payment. There should be no ransom. I've never believed in ransom payment.
But then here's sorry to interject, sir. Here's the catch. We are seeing a trend. When the kidnappers say they are going to kill, we are beginning to see them go on to carry out that threat.
They kill.
How do you deal with that?
When I was working with some companies, or even when I was in the service, when they kidnap people, they just keep them because they are the what do we call them now? They are the meal ticket of the kidnappers. They don't touch them. In fact, I've had situations where the hostage that was kidnapped from the company I worked for was wounded when they kidnapped him. They went on their own and got a doctor to come and treat the man. You know, so by the time he was released and we were worried, how is the wound and everything? He was walking. He was okay.
But that is not the case this time. It appears, you know, things have changed this time. This time they are becoming more daring.
Then they don't kill hostages. Now they are killing hostages. In fact, there is an extreme case where they still collect the ransom and kill the hostage, or the hostage has been killed or is dead, and they still go ahead and negotiate and then collect the ransom. Now, all these are because of dysfunctions in the kidnap process. Because in the kidnapping process, it's a process. You don't allow families to go and negotiate with kidnappers. There should be special, that's what I'm telling you. You have to equip the police and even the DSS. Equip them with negotiators. People who will talk to hostage negotiators. And when professionals are talking to them, you don't have to negotiate on a dead hostage. Because we have what we call proof of life. And that proof of life, as you are talking with them, every day you talk to them, you will also talk to the hostage, so that you know that the person you are negotiating for is alive. You don't just go and be talking, begging and all that. No, it's not a begging issue, you know, and the person who is kidnapped cannot negotiate for himself. These are all things that are supposed to be done. Now they are killing people. And, you know, because we are not following the proper way of the hostage kidnapping negotiation process.
It's a tough one, no doubt. So Dennis Amakre, thank you for coming on the show. Thanks a lot for your time as always, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, we'll take a short break, but still ahead, we'll be looking at, of course, the CBN, the new directive now by the president asking the NNPC to render accounts now for its crude oil sales to the CBN. Stay with us, don't go away. Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal. How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On DEJI360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DEJI360, dissecting the issues.